Final play, looks like barring a penalty. Prescott over the middle of the turf, gets smoked right away, and that'll do it. The 49ers back to the championship game.
Oh, baby. Who's ready for Philly? Huh? Who's ready for a cheesesteak? That's the Dallas Cowboys who fly back this morning and clean out their lockers, and the Niners in a hard-fought backyard brawl type of football game. It wasn't easy. Nothing was pretty. Brock looked unsure of himself in the first half. McCaffrey was shut down, but the Niners kept pounding. They kept chucking. They kept being physical. And in the fourth quarter, they were able to do just enough to outlast this tough, physical Dallas Cowboys team. And boy, does it feel good to head back to the NFC Championship for the third time in 4 years as the Niners outlast the Cowboys 19-12, a classic NFC divisional round playoff game. We'll get all into it and take your phone calls this morning at 888-957-9570. Good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shifts. Good morning to everybody out there, teachers, students, fans who were at Levi's yesterday. What an atmosphere, what an environment, and what a win for the 49ers, Shasky.
I mean, just so many people that need to get love this morning. I don't even know where to begin. I saw a game yesterday that felt like a playoff game. The physicality, the fighting for every inch. I mean, how many times did the Niners get a little run and you're like, ooh, that's like a 4-yard run. You're like, oh no, because their defensive line was in our backfield. That's really like a 1-yard run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all game. And it felt like every inch, every blade of grass on that field was being fought for by gladiators yesterday. It was unbelievable to see these linebackers. Fred Warner played his heart out. I thought Fred Warner had an unbelievable game.
Fred Warner was shined yesterday.
I thought he was unbelievable. I thought Van Der Esch and Micah Parsons and DeMarco Lawrence and the Cowboys, that was as stout a defense as I can remember the Niners facing. Brock made just enough throws in that game. The seam route in the first quarter to Kittle, the throw to Ayuk to get him, down close for a little chip field goal, which got him a first down. And then obviously the throw to Kittle late in the game where Kittle bobble, and makes the catch. I mean, just unbelievable. And Elijah Mitchell with an unbelievable run. I know we all want him to stay in bounds, but he's tiptoeing the line.
Slide in bounds would have been the best move there.
I know. It's tough because he was just getting around the corner.
Right, I know.
It was really difficult. It was really difficult. But look, all things being considered, situational football before the end of the half. Brock's got the ball with 11 seconds.
Shanahan was making me nervous with the clock management.
Bonte.
The clock management made me scratch my head a little bit.
There was 7 seconds on the clock. I said, you know what? I'd probably take the field goal right now. Brock scrambles, and everyone's thinking the same thing. Oh, my God, they're not going to have enough time. And he throws it away with enough time.
1 second.
Oh, thank God.
I thought earlier in the drive when they ran a couple run plays and they let the clock elapse.
You were losing it.
I was losing it a little bit. It was like, Shanahan, what are we doing?
He made a great throw to Jawan Jennings, now that I think about it, on that third down. On the, I think it was third or second down. Right. He stepped up and hit him on a deep crosser. Look, there wasn't a lot of offense in this game, Bonte, and that's part of playoff football against an elite opponent.
Physicality, playoff football, and look, I thought George Kittle. We discussed this game last week. When was he going to get that playoff moment? Well, I think yesterday that was the George Kittle game.
I'm with
you.
To
help carry the passing game and help out a young Brock Purdy who, look, he never faced speed like that before on the defensive end of the football. You bring out the best defense in a long time. Probably the best defense the Niners have faced since the NFC Championship. L.A. Rams with that front four.
Are they better? I'm asking.
They may be better, this defense.
More
but
balanced.
I'm saying the Niners haven't faced a physical defense like this since the L.A. Rams, probably the NFC
100%.
title game.
I said
and
that
they were all
Spinoni.
over it. They were all over it. They shut down all the running lanes for the first 3 quarters of the game.
There was nowhere to go.
They got after Brock Purdy.
Yeah, they did.
They weren't going for the screen game. They're a very good defense when it comes to the screen game. And I also thought, going into the week, how will Kyle Shanahan attack Dan Quinn? They know each other. They coached together for 2 years down in Atlanta. Dan Quinn knows the Shanahan offense. He knows the weaknesses, and they were physical, and they shut them down. Now, we'll get to Philadelphia later in the week, but that's something to be concerned with. Does Philly have the same speed as Dallas on defense? Well, they're secondary of ball hawks, and if you tip some passes around in that secondary, they will intercept the passes, but we'll get to that later in the week. This Dallas defense is good.
It really was good. It felt like to me they were bracketing Ayuk Ayuk and then daring someone else to win a one-on-one matchup. And I've told you, like going back to training camp, that's not really the specialty of these wide receivers outside of Ayuk. Ayuk can get separation, but when you're bracketing him, it just, to me, it felt like there weren't a lot of open targets in this game in general.
I thought Dallas wasn't fooled by any of the play action.
Exactly.
Any of the drag routes. They watched the film from Seattle last week. They were all over those deep crossers. Nothing was really open. Juwan Jennings hit a big one there. I believe that was in the second half, or was that into the second quarter?
No, that was the end of the second quarter on that
drag route. Yeah, on that drag route.
And that was a great throw by Purdy. That was a great throw by Purdy. And made a really nice throw.
That was one of the few drag routes.
To the left.
That was one of the few drag routes that was open for the 49ers.
They had that delay. It looked like they brought juice on a Texas route, and they threw that delay slant to Debo and got him going a little late in the game. But it felt like Debo and CMC couldn't get it going.
No, they were all over him. They were all over him.
And that's credit to Dallas's defense. Like, I'm actually walking out of that game going, hey, Dan Quinn has stifled. He did as good of a job against B. Was that as good of a job against this offense as you've seen all year?
I mean, absolutely. But we knew this defense was going to be legit.
Even then, I think that I'm even more impressed with them. I thought Diggs did a great job. I thought Wilson had a hell of a game, even though he slipped on a couple plays. And look, they took advantage of the little tiny opportunity of the windows that were there. And so, yeah, and then special teams. Look, you gave up some huge returns in this game.
Kickoff team was terrible yesterday.
Huge returns.
Kickoff team was terrible yesterday, but you know what? You know what? You can say the kickoff team was bad. You can say Dallas's defense was swarming. You could say they shut down Debo and Ayuk and Christian
Dak gave him some
McCaffrey.
gifts.
You know, Dak Prescott, this offense really controlled it. But you know what? The Niners are going to Philadelphia.
I know.
Not the Dallas Cowboys. The Niners, knowing that they were going to be in a physical battle, knowing they were going to probably play the best team they have played all season long, they found a way. How did they find a way? Well, they didn't commit a lot of penalties, right? Dallas was a more sloppy team in that football game. Last year, they committed a ton of penalties. This year, they committed a ton of penalties. Third downs. You're 7-14 on third down, 50%. That's good. The money down. You convert half those, you extend drives, you run a little clock. Dallas 5-15 on third down. So I don't care how it looked. The fact is, you advanced and you ended the Dallas Cowboys season. You ended it. You won the football game in an absolute fist fight that you didn't control. And I'm going to take that all day long because it feels good today.
3 moments in this game where I was like, I cannot believe Shanahan's doing this, because everyone's going to lose their mind about play calling with Shanahan. Third down, multiple times, second to the last drive. He goes open set. All guys split out wide, no one in the backfield.
Empty set.
Excuse me, empty. What did I say? Open. Empty set.
Empty set.
And he throws the ball. Then on first down, with whatever, like 2 minutes to go, he throws the ball to Kittle over the middle.
Big time.
My jaw was dropped. I couldn't believe Shanahan was doing that. And I'm crediting him. I'm not, like, that's, to me, he believes in Brock Purdy.
Well, yesterday was a game about trust.
Yes.
Yesterday was a game about trust for the 49ers. So what I mean by that is, they trusted their defense to keep them in the football game.
Yes.
Defense, bend, but don't break. And the defense bent, but they didn't break. And they only allowed 12 points, right? They only allowed 12 points.
Greenlaw, pick six so bad.
Eric Armstead had the sack for the safety.
You know what, though? But I kind of, like, I'm not trying to, like, rip. I kind of understand where he's at on that play.
You got to make that play.
Because if you belly flop, now you're giving them 15 yards. They might get the ball at the 30.
Yeah, maybe. But you got to make that play.
I know.
But trust was the theme to me.
Yes.
When I left that game, I said, wow, Shanahan and DeMeco Ryans trusted that defense. But also, Shanahan trusted Purdy in the most critical situations.
Yes.
Those 2 third-down conversions, 3rd and 2. He goes empty. McCaffrey motions out of the backfield. I'm thinking to myself, he would have never done this with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Brock Purdy makes the throw to Brandon Ayuk to get a first down. They make another first down. He throws it on first down. So there's a lot of trust.
Yes.
They knew it was going to be ugly, but Shanahan trusted that defense to keep them in the game early. Keep them in the game. Bend, don't break. Because Dallas controlled that first half. And then he trusted Purdy in the most critical moment of that football game. You want to trip to Philadelphia? Well, I need you to convert a couple third downs, and I'm going to empty the backfield. It's Shanahan trusted Purdy. So yesterday, that was a trust win. They trusted all 53 men on that roster yesterday.
I thought the play of the game, and I hate to, like, boil it down to one play, but the play of the game was Brock rolling out left. They're going to throw to the short side. Instead, he pivots, turns his shoulders, and throws a strike to a crossing George Kittle, who makes the bobble catch. A, I thought he's going to get blasted. B, I thought it was going to get intercepted. And Kittle comes down with it, And it was like, oh my God, that's all they needed was one 15-plus yard play. They just needed one, and they got that. And to me, that's the signature moment thus far in George Kittle's career.
That first quarter play, 31 yards, correct? When Ayuk and Debo's coming around.
Yes.
They're coming around on play action. Purdy's rolling out left.
That was a great
and nothing was there. And all of a sudden, he looks in the middle of the field, and there's George Kittle.
I know.
And he throws it to George Kittle. George Kittle makes a great play on the ball. George Kittle played like a grown-ass man yesterday. He was the better tight end on the football field. 5 catches, 95 big-time yards. To me, that was his best playoff game as a receiver.
I agree.
As a receiver. So the Niners end up with 32 carries, 113 yards. I thought they really grinded in the second half.
They got 132 yards.
They really grinded. Only 3.5 yards a carry.
What was the longest run? The Elijah Mitchell run at the end of the game?
Yep. You know, you watch that game, and I watched most of it back last night.
Every blade of grass was a war.
Didn't it feel like one of those classic wild card
100%.
or classic playoff games where every pitch is magnified? Well, here, every snap was magnified.
Yes.
Every yard was magnified. Every first down was magnified. It was just a tug-of-war of a football game to get to Philadelphia by far. Look, Dallas, good on both sides of the football. Physical, CeeDee Lamb is special. I really like Dalton Schultz. I could question the game plan of the Dallas Cowboys, not stretching the field, just taking everything underneath. That one, I felt a little confused by that.
Did you think that they used CeeDee Lamb? Because it reminded me of the way Cooper Kupp was used. And I was telling Spadoni, like, they used CeeDee Lamb on a lot of the short stuff because we were laying off.
It.
But here's the thing. Like, I think we've kind of forgotten this. Cooper Kupp's amazing. In the NFC Championship game, Odell Beckham made plays too.
Yeah.
And I felt like they didn't have that second guy for the wide receiver spot for Dallas to make a play outside of CeeDee Lamb.
That's why Philadelphia is going to be a problem.
Exactly.
Because Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are wide receiver number one.
Much more balanced.
Much more balanced. And Dallas Goedert is a hell of a tight end.
And the Tony Pollard injury was massive. Like, I'm not going to sleep on it.
Listen.
He was running well.
Look, he has a lot of speed. He has a lot of explosion. I don't get why they didn't give Malik Davis a few more carries, because I told you this last week.
I don't even know what he is as a player.
Malik Davis?
Yeah, he's like a scat back?
He's got juice.
Okay.
He's got juice. I watched him in the Tennessee game. He has a lot more juice than Ezekiel Elliott. You look at Ezekiel Elliott, I told you this. Whenever you give him the ball, it's a wasted play.
Yeah. How about his drop in the red zone? I know it was slightly behind him, but like that ball goes off the shoulder pads, it goes right up in the air. I thought we were going to pick that too.
Dude, Ezekiel Elliott is done. 10 carries, 26 yards.
No guaranteed money after this year. That might have been his final game as a Cowboy.
I think that is his final game as a Cowboy.
Kind of sad.
But he's done. He's done. He's done. So the Cowboys go home. Dallas fans are all, you know what was so funny? The quick pivot with Dallas fans in the parking lot after the game. Oh, well, you guys are going to lose to Philly. We're the biggest Philadelphia Eagles fan. Wait a minute.
That's your rival.
That's your rival. How can you root against Philly?
I guess we are one of their rivals.
I mean, how can you root for anybody in that football game?
How many Cowboy fans with Laker tattoos did you see yesterday?
I didn't see that many.
I saw 3 of them in traffic alone on the way in.
No, I saw.
Who?
Lay off. I was walking out.
I didn't see him.
You didn't see it, but I was
did
walking
not
out.
see Guru.
And Young Mac had FaceTimed me. Young Mac FaceTimed me, right?
Okay.
After the game, I pick up. And then, I look to my left. There's John Wall. And I'm like, John.
No way.
I'm like, John, you a Cowboy fan? He goes, yeah, man. I was like, John Wall, come on, man. Hey, by the way, continued health. I hope you get healthy. I won a Clippers-Warriors playoff series. Then I go, wait a minute, John. You're from Carolina. How'd you become a guy? He goes, we didn't have the Panthers when I was growing up. I didn't really have the Panthers when I was growing up.
He's like 25, and the team's been around since the 90s.
That was his excuse.
Yeah, it's a lie.
But it was cool.
Pinocchio.
I was like, oh, look at John Wall. What do you know? And he was walking out sad.
I'm convinced that's the dumbest fan base in sports.
The Cowboys?
Yeah, they're the worst.
They are the worst.
They're the most obnoxious, worst people on the planet.
They were.
And I'm joking here, but come on. I hate the Cowboys. Look, as ugly as that game felt for a lot of people, it's one of the most satisfying victories I can remember in a long time.
It was a big win.
And I know, look, today's not the day for us to big picture, whatever. To get to an NFC Championship game 3 times now in 4 years. And to do it this way, it's one of the most fun seasons in sports I can remember for the teams that I love at the pro level. I'm blown away with DeMeco Ryans. I'm blown away with this defense. I thought the battle between Tyron Smith and Nick Bosa was an all-time battle. And I thought Tyron got the better.
Nick Bosa has to step up next week.
He got swallowed by him, no?
Nick Bosa was getting folded on the line of
I thought so,
scrimmage.
too.
He was on the ground a lot.
It's the most I've seen him fall to one knee or two knee because the tackle pushed him into the ground any game.
Even on the Dak rollout when Arstead didn't make the play, he got folded on that play. He got decleated right there at the goal line. I was like, damn, Bosa. He was quiet yesterday. But you know who was loud? Fred Warner Jr. Fred Warner Jr., that was one of his signature football games in the middle of that field. He was hitting. He was stuffing the run. He was really good in the pass game. That's how you step up in big-time football games. 54, Fred Warner Jr. had his signature playoff game yesterday, I believe, at Levi's Stadium.
My favorite part is when multiple times they were going to go for it on fourth down, but we all knew they weren't. They were going to do the hut, and let the clock run down. And Fred is chirping at Dak Prescott. Fred is all of us, except doing it on the field in the middle. And he's pointing at Dak Prescott. You ain't going to get me. And then he's like waving them off the field. Fred Warner is an absolute savage.
I thought he was going to return that interception for a second to the house. I was like, oh, man, this is James Harrison. Let's go. All right, let's take some calls. 888-957-9570. What a win. What a win. We'll get to Philadelphia. We'll get to Rocky. We'll get to cheesesteaks later in the week. Right now, we're smoking
2023 QB1 week 1 in August in 6 months.
No, we will not
right
do that.
now, we're going to sink into the hot tub that is a victory over the Cowboys.
That's not what this show does. We're not worried about August 1st. I'm not worried about who the QB1 is. I'm worried about Brock Purdy right now. Brock Purdy, look, no turnovers. You win the turnover battle. You're now undefeated when you win the turnover battle for the 49ers. Let's go to Coach in Vallejo. Coach, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, good morning, guys. And
good morning.
I'm one of those. I'm one of those local Cowboy fans. And being a Cowboy fan, the game turned out pretty much the way we thought. Dak Prescott throwing all up over himself. Okay, and with Jerry Jones saying, "Oh, I'll come back. I'll use Dak Prescott again." The guy had 15 interceptions, just like he did yesterday in 12 games this year. Lenore even said that I was standing right there. I couldn't believe he threw me the ball. You know, it wasn't because of pressure or anything on those turnovers. Not taking anything from the 49ers. I think the Cowboys played their hearts out.
They did.
No one thought that Bosa could be blocked by Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith. They played well.
They did.
Unfortunate what happened to Pollard. You know,
it is.
But, like I said, hats off. 49ers won. The game turned out pretty much the way I thought it would be, even though I hoped we would get the good Dak Prescott instead of the bad Dak Prescott.
Good call, Coach.
Two things quickly on that. Number one, the Tony Pollard injury. You can't discuss this game without recognizing him leaving that game.
Was a big
this is a big loss for them. It changes their explosiveness on offense. But, like, no one remembers. History doesn't remember that Tony Dorsett walked out of the NFC Championship game with a separated shoulder in the first quarter in 1982.
Injuries happen.
They do. All right. Nobody cares that Navarro Bowman got his leg snapped off in the NFC Championship game against Seattle. You think Seattle cares about that?
No,
it sucks.
It does suck.
It sucks. I'm not saying that like it happens in the game, unfortunately.
Look,
and then Dak Prescott injury. Not injury, but the interception. The one where he rolled out to the left and Diamanor stepped up. I turned to Lucas. I go, got that. Because the second he let it go, Diamanor broke on it.
Well, I thought Michael Gallup ran a terrible route. That was a terrible route by Michael Gallup.
That. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what the route was. He just kind of ran up the field for 10 yards, turned around, and he made it easy on Lenore. It was a terrible route. Terrible.
Lenore kind of like moved him to the side, stepped in front, and was like, give me that.
Don't watch the route with Michael Gallup.
Okay, I got to check that out.
It was an awful route. Number one.
You are down on Gallup, huh?
Oh, yeah. Gallup's not that good. He gets overrated every single year.
Moving off of Amari, huh?
That's what we do with Dallas. We overrate their players.
Yeah, it's true.
Stop overrating their players. They're okay.
Well, their defense is elite.
But I thought the most critical spot in that football game happened after the Ray McLeod fumble. The way he caught that pass and high pointed. I go, Anna, and you could ask Diego Nzuri, who's sitting next to me. As soon as that ball was up in the air, I said, I don't like it. It
was like a knuckleball.
And he caught it.
I know.
He high pointed it, and he never really put that ball away. So he fumbles. I thought the Niners holding the Cowboys in 3-and-out position to make it a 9-9 game early in the third quarter. I thought everybody just kind of calmed down for a second and said, all right, we didn't blow the lead. They didn't score a touchdown to take all the momentum. A touchdown there, and I'm thinking, oh, boy, here we go. This may be it. To hold them to a field goal in that spot right at our halftime and picking up Ray McLeod, and then Ray McLeod having a big kickoff return to flip the field.
Totally redeeming himself.
I thought that was a key juncture of that football game yesterday.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. On that punt, it looked like, I thought we got our hand on the punt at first because it was like a knuckleball low liner. And when he came running up, like, look, I have PTSD from Kyle Williams. I
Right.
freely admit it. Every
Yep.
single punt, I'm afraid we're gonna fumble. That's just who I am. Anybody who sits near me knows that. B, when you catch the ball above your face
On the punt team.
oh,
on the punt
inside the
return.
10,
I know.
like to me, it's like, what are you doing?
But they picked him up.
I know.
They picked him
I
up.
could, but
and
that's the
you
kind
know
of
what?
play you lose the following
Yeah, no
week.
doubt. I'm glad he got it out of his system because on the kickoff return, he almost broke it to the house.
Yes.
So he flipped the field. Look, we're going to do this. JD, Jr., Rob, Nick, we're getting all to you. We're smoking this Cowboy pack all week long as the Niners advance to
God.
the NFC Championship
YouTube is
game
lit.
for the third time in 4 years. Third time in 4 years, the Niners are heading back to the NFC Championship game, and they got to do it on the road again in Philadelphia. We'll get there, though. We'll get there. Right now, we'll just salivate over this win. We'll celebrate this win over the Dallas Cowboys as they will be cleaning out their lockers today. The Niners will be watching film, getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles.